Phil, nice to meet you.
And you, sir.
Thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
I think you've probably seen a few of the films before, so
I have done, yes.
you know the format.
Yeah, sweet.
We're going to basically try and make a head out of wax. And
You'll need a lot of wax.
you got some facial hair, which is going to be good.
Yeah.
And my first earring. Brilliant, brilliant. So we'll try and have a chat as we go and see the head slowly evolve.
Yeah, lovely.
So if you don't mind, I'll get on.
Yeah, sweet.
And I'll ask you a couple of questions. And we'll get going.
Yeah.
So obviously you were mining in the area.
Yes.
Yorkshire.
I certainly was. I started on the 25th of May, 1975.
Wow.
And the reason I remember that day is because it was a bank holiday Monday. And it was the only bank holiday Monday I worked whilst mining.
Ever only your whole career?
Yes, yeah. But you see, I was based at Askin and the training centre was at Armthorpe. Well, Armthorpe worked that particular day and my colleague Askin didn't. So the train officer said to me, he says, you don't have to go today because it's a bank holiday, but initially it's a 10-day induction and you have to do the full 10 days. So if I'd had the Monday off, that means my induction would have took 3 weeks rather than 2.
Oh, really?
So, and that's why it's always stuck in my head.
Yeah. You lost that bank holiday?
No, I got a day in lieu,
All right.
but it was the only one I worked.
Well, what? 25 years, did you say?
Yeah, on and off. Yeah.
And did you go through everything, or did you stay in one particular? Were you like a ripper, or were you?
I preferred ripping, but I did it all. You had to do because like when you first start, you get you put on market.
Yes.
That is, you go down and you all assemble at pit bottom, and if there's a guy off on one unit, they'll send you there, and you just do different jobs. So you had to know every aspect of it, really. Yeah. But yeah, it was sweet. Really
Did they do in the training? Did you have like written stuff? Was it like written training, or like exams?
Not so much, no. Obviously, when you did your initial, initially when I joined, I wanted to be a welder.
All right.
So I had to go for an aptitude test and to do written work and what have you. And it transpired that they didn't want welders at that time, which I was quite disappointed about. And they offered me what they call mining craft.
All right.
And that meant I had to go back to school. Well, I just left school and I thought,
yeah.
No. So I turned that down.
Mining craft.
Craft.
So
Yeah,
what's that?
That basically, you're going more towards management side, like deputies and overmen and under management and stuff like that. But it was just leaving school to go back to school. Yeah. It wasn't for me, and I was disappointed I didn't get to be a welder.
Mm.
And when I did my induction at Armthorpe, they came back and I got recommended again for mining craft, but I turned it down.
So obviously they thought, he's a bright guy.
Yeah. And unfortunately, when I was about 23, 24, I decided I wanted to do it. But then when I went to do it, my attendance record wasn't quite as good as it should have been. I mean, I was a young man. And
with a social life.
Yes, yeah. I seldom work Friday nights.
Oh, really?
Yeah, one of them.
So what happens in that situation if you've got, I mean, what I've heard a lot of is the team, and you don't let your team down, that sort of stuff. If you don't turn up one morning, do they just replace you with a market man?
Yeah.
So you think, okay, I'm covered.
Yeah,
it's not
you're
like
always
you're
covered. Yeah, you're not letting them down.
Do you think that was a fault in the system that you're always covered? So you never have that kind of...
No, because I mean, it wasn't just me. Quite a few did it, you know, young lads. Getting a young 18-year-old, 19-year-old fella to go to work on a Friday night when all his mates are going out, it's a bit difficult.
So that literally was a Friday night shift?
Yeah. They did try and box clever at one stage. The night shift used to be 10 while 6:15 or 7:15 hours, so 10 while 5:15. And on a Friday they put it to 6 o'clock. 1800, 6 while 1:15 to try and stop you going to the loser. Because they had what they call a back shift. Your afternoon shift used to finish at 7:15, 12 or 7:15, 6 while 1:15. And then they had a back shift that used to go bits of maintenance, like, I can't remember what they called it now. And it would just call it back shift. And that was 6 while 1:15. Well, on a Friday, the entire pit went in at 1:06 because it did stop quite a few guys going out on a Friday night. But it didn't seem to have that effect on me.
So Friday night out then, what was that? In Doncaster?
Well,
Down a pub?
it used to vary, like I'd go down the village, there were like 8 pubs in my village. So
Oh, right, that was in the time when...
yeah, when it was a drinking culture, I mean, it's no longer that. So yeah, used to go down to the village and then a couple of us might come to town on last bus and
Yeah.
go bogeying and what have you. And,
Yeah, because it was a drink. I mean, would you
was.
say it was a tough culture
yeah.
or just a sociable one?
Both. It was tough and sociable.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was hard graft, but the crack was amazing. The guys you work with, basically, it's like you're putting your life in their hands at times. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you've got to trust them and get on it. I mean, you could do that and could have a right barney effing and blinding at each other, and then go out and have a boozy. It was left down
Yeah.
pit. Well, 99% of the time it left down pit. So.
That's incredible because I've heard that before and I'm thinking, God, it seems to be across the board, it's almost like an unwritten rule. You
Yeah.
didn't have to be told it,
Yeah.
it just was it.
Well, I suppose it's like inbred, really. And like you pick it up as you're there. Like I'm 18, I'm working with guys at the 45, 50. To me, like they're misters, and I'm still like a young man. And like it's how they act and come across. You just follow on, really, and it's it's good.
So what was the best, which job did you like best down there?
Ripping, I like ripping.
And the riffing is basically, you're not the generation that are hand chiselling, you've got the old proper...
We had a what we call a
kit.
pig's head boring. You used to bore it and fire it, stick it with explosives, blow it up, drop it down, fill it out and set a steel girder.
So what bit were you of that? Did you do all that?
As a team you did it all, yeah. You'd get on platform, there'd be 2 or 3 around pig's head borer, shoving it in.
Pig's head borer?
Yeah, it's basically shaped like a pig's head. Yeah. It worked off excuse me, it worked off hydraulics at our pit. A lot of pits had a Holman borer which worked off compressed air, which was just a different borer, same job really. And like I say, you'd bore your lip, might take 10, 15, 20 holes depending on the size of it, rip or whatever. Fill it with powder, and then the deputy would come along, he'd stem it up, fire it. What you had to do, you had to go so far down the gate, out of the way, and then you'd send one man down the face, and he'd be like a guard, and you can't, nobody's allowed to walk by that man. Just stops everything. You go down the gate, shot fire, he's wired up, gets his box, shouts fire, boom, it goes. And come down, then you go back in, fill it out, set it good.
Is it deafening? Is it bad on your ears?
Yeah,
is it tinnitus after type thing?
No, you weren't that close. But yeah, it's, like I say. Sweet.
Then you're dealing with rubble.
Yeah,
basically.
we used to have an Imco bucket. It's basically, it's like a little machine on tracks, like a tank type tracks. With a bucket on it, a bucket would go in and then it'd flip to one side and you'd fill it out onto a stage loader, and that takes it away, and then like I say, you set your arch, your legs, repeat.
Yeah.
I quite liked it because it was physical.
Yeah.
It was hard graft, but yeah, it was alright.
So you're fit.
Oh yeah, for sure. I played rugby as well, like, so that helped.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, we're
For the mining team.
For the mining welfare, yeah, Ascot Miners Welfare. We had 2 teams. I played for the second team. Yeah. 13 years.
Did they value it in the sense, did you get time off?
No.
Did it go, it's good for the mine if you
No.
get
What was I going to say? Yeah, I tell people I paid £2 a week for 13 years to get beat up. Which I did, basically. It went alright. I loved every minute of it. Without a shadow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So did you retire or did you leave early?
After the strike, the 84, 85, I was totally disillusioned with the industry. And so I decided I'd had enough.
Mm.
And I came out and I had to wait for 10 months. I just...
10 months?
Yeah, I was in a bit of a downer.
Was that... was that across the board? Did you sense that
No,
down the
no.
pub, was there loads of you like that?
No, not really. A lot of them were married and that, you know what I mean? And so they were... I'm not saying they were stuck, but they had more commitment than I did, you know what I mean? And I just got disillusioned and I just stopped going. I didn't go and tell them I'd finished, I just didn't go
really?
anymore. So, but then after 10 months I ran out of money.
Yeah.
So that's when I went contract mining.
So you literally just stopped, you literally didn't turn up to
Yeah.
work and,
Yeah.
and for 10 months?
Yeah.
God.
I had a few quid in bank, like, you know what I mean? So, and I was single, it didn't really matter to me. That's how it goes.
Yeah. So did you ever... So the strike was the defining point really in your kind of thinking?
I was totally devastated when we went back because we'd been out for 12 months and we didn't actually achieve anything. I was gutted. I would have still been on strike today had it took that. That was the downside of it. I did have a lot of good times down at Pitt. Made some fantastic mates for life.
Yeah. You still see him?
Not as often as I'd like. But when I finished my mining career in 2002, I believe it was. Yeah, April 2002 last time I went down the mine. And I work at railways now.
All right.
It took me down south for a while. I went down Bognor Regis for about 8, 9 years. And came back up, we were missing kids really, and she says, let's get back up.
So you left. So your kids had left home.
Oh yeah, they were all grown up then. Yeah. So we came back for grandkids basically.
Yeah. So what were you doing on the railways?
There's many different tickets. It's like auto nowadays, you've got to have a ticket to blow your nose basically. But I do crane controlling, self-explanatory, I look after the crane, and the eyes of the driver on the ground. And,
So this is rail construction really?
yeah, well, majority of the work I do, we take the old rail out and put new in. They call them renewals.
Right.
So, well, I've got all the tickets, LXA, level crossing attendant, costs, lookout, points operated. It's all part and parcel of working on railway.
And you're doing that here now?
Yeah, that's my career. I'm semi-retired at the moment. I just work every now and again.
And is that a growth industry or is that sort of something that's...
I won't say it was a growth industry. It's like something that's always going to be there, isn't it? Railways. We're never going to get shot at rail. Not like the mines. They shut the whole mine. There's always going to be railway.
Did you think there was always going to be coal mining?
100% sure. I thought mine. Well, me personally, I thought I had a job for life.
Yeah.
The amount of reserves that are still in this country is unbelievable.
Yeah.
There's hundreds of years of reserves, proven reserves, in this country, and it's just laid there now, never to be mined.
Yeah.
Yeah. She has a lot to answer for. There's the witch,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
You're not alone.
No,
It's quite a theme that's
no.
developing.
Exactly. I mean, especially this part of the world. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? We know and see every day the devastation that woman
Yeah.
put upon us. Our sons and our grandsons no longer have a job for life. It's bitting and bobbing.
Did your father work in the mines?
He did, yes. My grandfather, my uncles, my
Really?
cousins. Yeah.
God. Round here?
Well, my grandfather originally came down from Gateshead.
Oh.
He worked up there. And my father was 14 when he come down here.
So your grandfather brought him down as a 14-year-old?
Yeah. My grandfather worked in the mines up in the north east, and for some reason, quite a few of them came down.
Yeah.
I don't know if they shut pits up there or what, but Yeah, they
But
came
they were
down.
probably building pits here. It was a growth industry, wasn't it, at the time, I suppose?
So, that's going to believe it were opened in 1911 when they first sank the shaft. But, yeah, like I said, my grandfather, my father, uncles, everybody went to mines.
I lost my tool. Oh, sorry, oh, here we go. It's such a filthy. I'm superstitious. I have to work in these clothes
Yeah,
because it's a bit like going to work in your jeans and you should be in a suit. You know, it just doesn't feel right unless I'm caked in mud. But I do lose my tools.
I'm like that when I go in my shed.
So do you live in Donny now? Or
Yeah, I live in Woodlands now. It's
I went and did a talk down there in Woodlands.
Oh yeah?
Is it the club? In the Woodlands Club?
Yeah.
It was unfortunate that Doncaster were playing Rotherham at the time.
All right, well,
So my audience was lost on me.
yeah. Yeah, I can imagine.
In fact, I think they were a bit perplexed as to what the hell I was doing there, really. Nice people.
Yeah.
Good, you've got a very strong head, sir.
Oh, thank you.
I'm a judger of heads now.
Yeah.
It's become a skill I'm developing very quickly.
Yeah. It came in handy when I was looking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how long were you riffing?
It varied because like you'd go on a unit and work it out. And that unit might last 5 years, maybe more. It depends. I did a lot of ripping. I would say the majority of my career was ripping, or in headings, which is ripping but on a different scale. Yeah.
And did you ever get injured or did you
Yes.
keep yourself safe or?
Yeah, I've had a few near-death experiences.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I did some salvage work. But when the unit comes to a close, which run its course, all the supports on the face, we had to get them off, and they call it salvage basically. And in layman's terms, you had a rope that went continuous. They call it a bolt and haulage. You know, attach a rope to the front and a rope to the back at chocks. These chocks are like 7.5 ton.
Mm.
And they used to pull them out of line and then drag them down. Well, this chock got stuck, and unbeknown to me, there was still tension on the rope, so I went up to see what was wrong, and it gave way, and this 7 ton came hurling towards me, and it pinned me against the coal, and it touched me like that. The 7 ton just touched my chest like that.
Why did it stop?
Because its momentum stopped there. Had it had more momentum.
It's on level ground.
Yeah.
And it was coming on.
Yeah, they attached the rope to it, and it's on a big drum, and they pull the rope. And I thought it took the tension off the rope, but the tension was still on. It's called stored energy.
Oh.
And whatever was obstructing the choke, it freed itself with the stored energy, shot forward. Like I said, pinned me to the coal face. I seen it coming, and I crapped myself. I thought, that's me gone. And it honestly, just touched me like that.
Jesus.
Another 4 or 5 inch, it caved my chest in.
How did you,
But I was so lucky.
so how long does it take you to get over that? I mean, you got shrug your shoulders and
Well,
get on, or you go home and like and think,
No, to be honest,
goes through your head.
I had to go sit down for at least half an hour. I was shaking like a
Yeah.
leaf. I thought I was dead. It all happens that quick, you know what I mean? But
Well, it's the shock, isn't it?
when I seen it coming, there was no way I could get out of that way, and that's me dead. And it touched me. Somebody was smiling on me that day, for sure. Yeah. I've been carried out on a stretcher twice.
Really?
Yeah.
How cool?
Once I just hurt my ankle really. It wasn't a big thing, but I couldn't walk. And another time I was in a heading and side came in and smashed my leg. I thought I'd broke it at the time, but
So say it again, a side. What do you mean a side?
the side, coalface side.
The coalface
Yeah.
side fell in.
Yeah. You rip it and then you pack it so that it don't come over. But there was a thin gap, and it was the chances of it happening were out of this world. A slab about maybe 6, 7 inch, peeled off the top, came down and keeled over onto the side of my leg. I was stood here, and the face is there, and it's all messed up. But there was just that gap, it was such freakish. It came down, smashed my leg, I thought I broke it. They carried me out. Unfortunately, it weren't broke. But, and I've been involved in 2 stretcher cases that I've helped carry out. Unfortunately, none of them were fatalities.
Wow.
But I do know some people that unfortunately didn't make it. It's just.
Is it something?
I'm going to say part and parcel, but it's not that blasé really.
No. But is it something that you talk about? I mean, is it like do you talk about it to each other a lot, or?
No. It is part and parcel. You do tend to shrug it off, but it's always there. You know. No, I don't really talk about it. I'm surprised I mention it now, really, because it's not something I talk about. I don't think my kids know how.
Did you realise when you got a different job that was always was maybe more present in your mind than it is in the job you got now? Do you think, that there's none of that risk attached or that kind of threat attached to it?
Not really, because we've got 200 tons of metal coming towards you at 125 mile an hour.
It's still there.
So you've got to keep your wits about you. You know.
So your dad, he was in the mines up in Gateshead?
No, my father worked down here. My grandfather was in Gateshead, and he came down at 14. My father worked at the same pit as I did. My uncle was a deputy there. I never actually worked with my dad.
Would you have liked to have done?
I don't think so, because we were too much alike. Yeah, I am his son.
Really?
I left home at 18. Basically because we had 2 bulls in the same field, and it weren't.
Are you the only? Are you? How many of you were there?
The 6 of us had
6.
Yeah, 4 sisters and 1 brother.
Blimey.
Yeah. Fortunately, I lost one of my sisters. But cancer took her.
Gosh. And having 6 siblings or 5 siblings make it an interesting childhood?
For sure.
Do you look after yourselves?
Do
were you heavily ruled by rod and iron?
Oh yes. My father would always go, if you wanted to cry, he'd give you something to cry for. And he weren't shy with belt either.
Really?
Yeah.
And the house you lived in when you were that age, what was it?
A 3-bedroom, semi-detached.
Sort of council house?
Yeah. Well, they called them pit houses, 'cause they were built for pit, basically. Yeah. My brother and 2 of my sisters actually live in the house that I was born in.
Really?
Yeah. Well, one of my sisters, she went away with a fellow, but she's come back. But my brother and my other sister have never left home.
Really?
Yeah.
Are your parents still around?
No. My mum's been gone a good while, and so was my dad, actually. My father he was 88, my dad. But
Tough guy?
Oh, yeah.
To the end?
Yes.
Were you ever considered a grown-up?
Yeah, I was. But he was always my dad, and my dad was always right when he was wrong. And
when he was wrong?
Yeah. I dare say people think that about me as well. But when I say people, I don't mean my kids. Yeah, I am not as severe as my father by any stretch of the imagination, but yeah, it's a case of monkey see, monkey do. Parenting skills, I've always said that the most important job in your adult life is being a parent, and you get no formal training for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can say hand on heart that I've never hit any of my kids, but my bark was enough to put them in place. Yeah. Really.
So in hindsight, would you think your dad was a happy man?
He was a confused man, I think, my dad. Yeah.
Was he living in times that were changing around him?
Yeah. He couldn't quite grasp. Like, how can I put it? I love my father, but I hated him as well. You know what I mean?
Did you respect him?
Yes. He was a gentleman.
Oh, so he was a gentleman.
Outside of the house. And inside he were, at times he were a loving, doting father, and other times he were a tyrant. But that's just how he is. How he was. The good times were good, the bad times were not good.
Did you go on holidays?
Not very many, no. With 6 of us, there weren't that much money about, you know what I mean?
So your mum was looking after you?
Yeah.
She worked or?
She used to go in fields,
So what's that
Like,
mean?
pea picking and tatty picking, stuff like
And
that.
that's all round here?
Yeah. There were a lot of it done back them days. As kids we used to go. People, you see, and make a few bob. But yeah. In hindsight, well not hindsight, when I reflect on my life, I've been quite fortunate because I've never really had a goal or worked towards a goal as such, but whenever I've needed work, I've fell into work, and it's been good paid work. My childhood was brilliant because you could, I mean, it sounds weird, but you could leave your door open.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, no one would come and nick out. Yeah.
That kind of honour existed underground as well, I expect.
Oh, for sure, yeah. The worst thing you could do on the ground is steal someone's water.
Yeah.
If you run out of water, you get a drink. Or tamper with a food or all that, a snap. You don't just think like that. Yeah, and I've run out of water, I've had too much, here's a drink. Like you said, you have one. But don't just go up and take it.
Because it was hot down there, wasn't it?
Some pits, what hottest pit I worked at were North Selby.
North Selby.
Yeah, that was really hot. You could sit there, they used to call them bannikers, basically it's just a pair of shorts. You'd work in a pair
Bannikers?
Yeah, that's what you call
How do you spell that?
T-H-A-T.
Shall we put that one down? Bannikers.
Yeah.
G-A-T.
Yeah, but that's what they call them, bannikers. They're just big shorts, and you could just sit there doing nothing, and you'd be sweat would be pouring out. Yeah.
And did that take a lot getting used to when you first get? Did you?
Yeah,
when you get off an
yeah.
aeroplane in wherever you go.
Oh yeah.
It's like the blanket of heat that hits you.
I used to take 2 2-litre bottles of water, frozen.
Really?
Yeah, I used to put them in the freezer, and you take them down. Later on, they started having ice machines at the pit.
Really?
Yeah, and you'd have a big Dudley, about yay size, and you'd fill that up with ice. Because it was that hot, it'd just melt. And you'd see them coming out at shift, end at shift, and your bannikers used to get that wet that you'd end up getting a nappy rash, basically. And you could see them walking down the John Wayne walk, trying to
Waddling.
swim their legs so that the shorts aren't rubbing.
God.
But yeah, you used to suffer from that quite a lot. But hey, how?
Did you ever get used to the heat? I mean, is it something you actually, or is it something you never ever kind of liked or got into the heat? Was it a constant trouble to you?
No, you do acclimatise to it eventually. But yeah, you're constant, well not constantly, but you do. I could drink that 4 litres of water in a shift and not even have a wee.
Really?
You know what I mean? Try drinking 4 litres of water without having a wee.
Yeah.
You could sometimes take your boots off and you pour the sweat out your boots. But yeah, it's what you get used to.
Yeah.
It has to be done to make a living.
So did your dad want you to go down the pit?
No, he was adamant I weren't going down the pit.
And his reasons would be he doesn't want you to have that life, or
Yeah. I think I don't want to big myself up, but I do think I could have done better for myself than I have. And I think he knew that, and he didn't want me to go down. But the more he's told me I couldn't, the more I says, well, so you know.
that's his strong-headedness.
Yeah. Had he gone about it in a different way, and it might have influenced me better, but the fact that he said I couldn't was a red rag to a bull.
Yeah. And were you good at school then?
Yes and no, because I was a bit of the class clown.
All right.
I didn't struggle at all. Maths was so easy to me, and I liked maths, and so I tried at maths. French, no, I can parler-vous en français, petit parler-vous, but it just never grabbed me,
No.
and I didn't apply myself. That's the thing. I was gonna join the Navy,
Yeah.
and I'd been and had me aptitude test and everything, and got a start date. I was going to go down to Portsmouth, and the girl I was with at the time says, "Don't go," and I didn't go.
Yeah.
I missed that opportunity, and 6 months later she ran off with my best mate.
Oh God.
Yeah.
How old were you then?
Oh, 17-ish. Yeah. They eventually got married, so it worked out
That's
for them.
okay,
But
yeah.
mine have a divorce now, like, but
Still in touch then?
yeah, the majority of people I know that have been married are now divorced. It's just a throwaway society, I suppose. Move on. Back in the day, you were married for life, weren't you?
Yeah. Job for life.
Job for life, married for life. Long time dead.
Yeah.
That hasn't changed.
So you said earlier you took time out and you grew a ponytail and
Oh yeah, well that's when I got disillusioned with mining. I dropped out and grew a ponytail and lived in a tent, went apple picking and stuff like that.
for a whole.
Yeah, about 10 months it was.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy that then?
I loved it. Absolutely
Was
loved
it
it.
freedom?
Yeah. If I didn't want to go to work, I didn't go to work. I just made enough to survive. It was just subsistence living. I had enough for my beer, that was it. You know,
Before responsibilities?
before responsibilities, yeah. Then, like everyone else, you have to grow up and put roots down and yeah, commitments. Yeah.
How old were you then?
Mid-20s, I should say.
You didn't travel around the...
No, not really, no. I've done more travelling in my later years, holidays and such. Like I said, I've never had a goal, never had a vocation. I just keep falling into things. I'm walking down the street, my mate says, "Are you working, Bill?" I says, "No." He says, "We're going to Germany, tarmacking, do you want to come?" I said, "All right then." I went there for 6 weeks. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
What does that taste like?
Nothing.
Yeah.
Hopefully it got tasting one.
Yeah, go on, I'll have it. It looks like lard.
Yeah. It's just like plasticine, I suppose. No flavour, is it? Unless I'm missing something.
Certainly got no flavour. Yeah.
No.
Can I help you?
It's quite, yeah, have a go. There you go.
There you go. I assisted in my bronze.
It's quite pleasant, really.
Yeah, it's alright. I don't think I'll be taking it up though.
I can imagine in your shed now.
I've started to eat a lot of sawdust. Yeah, going around with chisels and out your mouth at the wrong time.
Yeah.
You're going to put the scar on.
There's a good one there. Is that rugby playing?
No, it's mining.
Mine.
Yeah.
Did you ever get these blue scars?
Yeah, I've got a few.
Have you? They're still blue?
Yeah. That one.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
Yeah. I've got a couple on my back, one on my leg here. It's coal dust, can't get it out.
Yeah, you can't get it out.
No. Embedded. My father had a beauty on his arm here.
Really?
Yeah.
They're kind of badges of honour, aren't they?
Well, no mistake in it, you know where you've been.
Yeah.
Same man with blue skies and an ex-miner.
So do you still use much of the language? What was that word you were talking about? Rush, Joe?
Wushka.
Rushke.
Wushka.
Worcester.
Is that a mining thing or?
Well, I don't know. It's a Yorkshire thing. Worcester. It's gone.
Go on,
Yeah.
Rushke.
Yeah. It's like Banneker's.
Banneker's, I like that.
Yeah.
Banneker's must write. In fact, I'll write that down. Can you write that down for me?
Yeah, I've got it.
So on this monument, on this piece of sculpture, I want to have a glossary of words.
Oh yeah.
So all the words that come up, Banneker's, that sort of stuff. So when you go there
Yeah.
with your grandchild, and they go, "What's that mean, Grandad?" The conversation starts.
And I'll say, you know why that's there? Because I tell Laurence.
Yeah, yeah.
Banneker's.
Yeah.
There's that pighead thing as well.
Pardon?
Pighead.
Yeah.
something like
Big head boy. The different pits had different names for them. Like I said, we worked a lot on hydraulics, whereas the majority of mines had compressed air.
Yeah.
Don't know why we didn't have compressed air at Asking, because it's really quite useful.
Were they independent businesses, or they were
No.
run by the coal board?
No, they're all coal board.
So it'd be the coal board's decision.
Yeah.
Not to
It
have.
might have been, I don't know, for whatever reason, I don't know. I won't like to speculate.
that. Laurence had never heard Snapton before.
Yeah.
Doncaster.
Snapped it, yeah. My missus, we've been together 25 years now. I met her when I went to the apple picking. Yeah, she's from Wisbeach,
Wisbeach.
yeah, near Kingsley.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we eventually moved back up here, and I got me sent a job at Pitt again. She packed me snap up. I get start pay. Must me snapped in. Shut it straight away like that. She'd only wrap me snap in tin foil.
And is that really
Yeah.
a no-no?
You can't take tin foil out pit.
Oh, sugar. Yeah,
Yeah.
because of contraband.
Yeah, it can cause a spark which could ignite the gas.
Oh my god.
So needless to say, I didn't have any snap that day.
Blimey.
Well, I did, I ate it all while.
Yeah.
Because I were out at North Selby, but yeah. Because what they used to, every now and again, they'd check your bags.
Hmm.
But it's like everything else. It's like when you go through airport, they don't check every bag
Yeah.
every time. And this day they didn't check my bag, and thank God they didn't. I'd probably upset.
Gosh.
Tin
Is that
foil.
serious, sir?
But yeah, you're putting everyone's life at risk. Yeah. It's like matches, I don't like that. You can't take them down. It's big no.
They even do that when we go down the cap house at like Wakefield.
Yeah,
They you have to hand your cameras in and everything. And
yeah. I've been down. When I said that the last time I went down a mine was in 2002, it's not strictly 2, because I've been at cap house twice. Like
How does that compare to the?
It gives you an insight, but that's it. It's like me looking at your finished bronze. You know what I mean? That's the finish. The process of getting there is entirely different.
Yeah.
So what you actually see at cap house is good, but it's not a true reflection, because obviously it's been stood that long and it's sound secure. When
So-
you're actually mining, you get distortion when weight comes on and rings go all out of shape and what have you. And
Dynamic situation.
it's entirely different. You get like back ripping when roads have really gone. You come and rip it again and set steel, because the steel is not there to keep it up. It's to slowly lower it, because you imagine you're 100 foot down, well, 100 yards down, whatever. The weight above you is tremendous. So trying to keep it up, you can't. You just lower it down gently. And
Yeah.
sometimes it gets that low that you rip it out again and make a new game. That's called back ripping.
I'm going for the scarring now.
Oh, lovely. Yeah, it got me 60 quid, that scar.
What?
60
Oh
quid.
yeah, did it?
Yeah.
How did that happen?
I'd not long since finished my coal face training, so I was still a bit green. And on rips, you used to have brackets on side of rings and bars that you put your platform on. you take your bracket off and move it forward and slide your bar. Now it still had weight on it, and I took the nut off and it was still stuck. So I had a spanner. I give it a spanner, whack. I'd left the bracket on the top because basically it's like a square. 2 bolts there, 2 bolts there. These bolts would cut your ring, so this acts like a pivot. So I undone the bottom one, the weight was on it. I whacked it. It came off because the top one was still attached. It flicked out and it caught me right under the eye. Yeah, bang. Monday morning, bit of an hangover.
Oh,
Boof, catch that. I went out. Yeah, 60 quid they give me for it.
it's interesting, isn't it? They pay you for your injuries.
Yeah, well, it's the disfigurement, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like a week's wage. It was worth a smacking eye for a week's
Well,
wage.
some people are saying people cut the tip off a little finger.
Yeah, they had fixed prices for quite a lot of things. I wouldn't know what they were. I got 60 quid for that, and that was enough for me.
Family heirloom in the making.
Yeah. You'll have to make me 4.
What sort of time have we got? Dan?
It's 3 o'clock.
Oh, it's done.
Down. Finito.
Blimey.
Try and fly when you're enjoying yourself.
Okay, we'll have to say that's it then.
Yeah. Well, if you're happy with it.
You never know. Funny enough, when you leave the room, I know whether it's right or wrong, because if it reminds, I think, oh, that reminds me of him. Yeah, that's it. But until that point, when you're in front of me, all I see is the differences.
Yeah. Well, I think that I could pick that out.
Yeah?
Yeah, and say that is me. What do you want?
That's good, yeah. See you there. It's good.
Yeah, I'd happily give you £1 for it. When it's bronze.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you want to take a picture?
Yeah.
Of what?
You 3.
What's 3?
Yeah. You 3.
Dirty.
That's good, that.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Great, mate.
Thank you very much.
I'll put an earring in when I get home.
Yeah.